He's an irrational, quick-triggered, nuclear overreactor. He's a masterful storyteller who consistently finds himself drowning in a sea of awkward. It's time for Now Trending in Ben.
I have a lot of anxiety about being on planes just because I'm a giant human. I don't like to lean back because I don't want to get all up in someone's space. And I always want to be on an aisle so I can kind of lean some of my girth over into the aisle.
I remember this being back towards the back of the plane, too, wasn't it?
Back towards the back of the plane. Now, in the window seat was the smallest Asian woman that's ever boarded a plane. She was right next to me. I was on top of her.
Standing in the chair.
And she was scared, and it appeared, just as an outsider looking, it appeared the first time she had ever been on a plane and around civilization.
Okay. So she was perhaps from a small village, and she was not only afraid of the large American next to her, but maybe the monstrosity of the plane and the big engines.
Yeah.
And what would happen next.
She was
whatever bad pay-per-view movie Ben was watching.
I just noticed that she took up half her seat and I took up half her seat. And she was tiny and I'm huge and
shivering.
She's shivering, she's scared, and she appears to be on her first flight, and she did not speak an inch of English, like nothing. And she was, I was trying to be using universal language, like trying to communicate with her, make her comfortable.
You bowed.
I think no. I think I was making her uncomfortable because I was trying to make her comfortable. But she was confused. She was like, she didn't know, why are the gods spraying this weird air on me from up above? And, it's like... and they would come over and say, you need to put your seatbelt on. And she would look at them with this confused look, and they were like, seatbelt. And she would like, I don't understand. What? Why are you yelling at me right now? What? And they're like, you need to put that belt that's in your seat, wrap it around you. And they're like, why? She's like, why are you making a motion? And I would like look over, oh, yeah. And I showed her mine, and I went, click, 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 and then like...
you kept pointing down to your crotch?
I made the gun sign, and I went, click, click, click. Pull it till it goes click. It was almost like she was on an alien spaceship. Okay? Mm-hmm. It was very awkward. So we were on the flight, and of course I was watching bad pay-per-view, and, I'm ordering all these snacks and stuff. I'm buying like $19 crackers. And I'm ordering food, and I'm like, I don't think she knows how to order food, because there was a male flight attendant. He would come by, and he'd like look at her, and he'd go, would you like something? She's like, and he's like, would you like some food? And he's making the food, Tina. Do you want your food? He's getting a little frustrated with her because she was like, words? You use words? You human?
I'm sure he was freaking her out too by making the motion of what he was putting in his mouth as he said food, right? There's no telling what she thought he was asking for.
I could sense that he was unnerving her because she would tremble more when he was there. Mm-hmm. It's just a trembling meter. And so she was, during the course of the flight, she didn't order any food. And then I was just sitting there watching whatever bad movie I was watching, and I smelled the worst smell I'd ever smelled in my life. And I was like, did this tiny lady just fart? And I'm like, and she had like,
sir. That made her fall out of her chair.
She had brought food that was wrapped up in like terry cloth, like burlap. Like she had like a burlap wrap of whatever food she was eating, and and so this horrible smell.
What was it?
And I looked over, and she was like eating like a tarantula body. Like the legs were gone, and she was just eating a tarantula. And I'm like, what is she? This is the foulest smelling thing, and it was like pickled tarantula, torso. I don't know. It was like she was eating something that smelled like death.
Okay, now this story has come back to me a little bit. I seem to recall, on a scale of 1 to Richard Simmons, how sassy was the flight attendant?
Very.
Okay.
I mean, just super sassy.
Right.
And he was not...
he was there to criticize other people's fashion choices on the red carpet?
Panties.
Yes.
Okay.
He was...
Yep.
He was a full American sass.
Uh-huh.
And so he wasn't offering her a lot of patience.
Right.
And I could tell, I was like... And he was trying to bond with me over it. Like, can you believe this? This is crazy. She'd been the first time on a plane. He wasn't saying that, but that was the vibe.
And he had an ascot around his neck.
He had multiple ascots. He put the ass in ascot.
Yeah, okay.
And pushing his ascot out.
Oh, man.
On his neck.
Yep. Just a big bow there.
Yeah. And
on the Adam's apple.
He would come over and display little patience with her as she looked at him every time like it's the first human she's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would start shivering or whatever. And anyways, she's eating the nastiest smelling crap I've ever even smelled. I mean, I would have preferred that she took a dump on her tray. I would just prefer she'd left a log out on her tray out of, and that's very nice. So anyways, she's not drinking anything. I'm like, how's she going to wash down this tarantula body? And so I'm like, he would come by and he would like, would you like something to drink? And I'd be like, yes, I'd like a coffee and a water or whatever. And he'd look at her, would you like a drink? And she would just look at him, start shivering and get real scared. She's like, the mean man is back, so I would like make the sign, like, do you want a drink? And I'd hold my hand up the international drink sign, and she'd look at me like horrified, like, the giant's talking to me.
When you put your tongue in your cheek, though, that confuses me.
Hey, sir.
That's not the international drink. That's the international gulping sign.
Gulp.
And so anyway, she wasn't ordering anything, and she pulls out some sort of electrical device. It looked like a BlackBerry, like it was 1,000,000 years old. No, wait, what?
Like a pleasure device?
No,
Kevin.
like a phone or something.
Man.
It was like a handheld speak and spell. It was some little tiny device. Turns out it was a translator.
Oh.
Digital translator.
Yeah.
All right.
And she would type something in, and then it would go, I kept hearing this, and I couldn't, it's like the same sound over and over, and I couldn't tell. I was like,
What's
what is
making that sound? Translator?
The translator, this digital thing, but she got it cupped in her hand, and I can't really tell. And then it would go, and she would go, and so she was trying to say whatever word it was. I was trying, and then one time, if you muffle your phone, you can't really hear it. One time, she held the device at such an angle that I heard it crystal clear, and this is what I heard.
Meeilk.
Oh.
Meeilk.
Her breasts were full.
Meeilk.
So she's over there going, and so this is what she'd do. So she obviously didn't speak any English, so she had a translator, and she'd go like this.
Meeilk.
Meeilk. I'm her, and this is, and so she's practicing trying to say the words. So do it again.
Meeilk.
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 Meeilk. And so she wasn't getting it at all.
Like Ron Burgundy.
And I'm sitting there. Yeah, I'm sitting there listening to her get the word milk wrong, and it's over and over and over and over. And she's practicing to sweetheart of a woman.
God, what a turn on.
Well, here comes. Oh yeah, full tent pitched. Which that's why the flight attendant was hovering around my seat.
I'm here to help you. Come on out in the aisle, big boy.
So he comes by and he's like getting my stuff and my trash off my tray, and he's kind of glances over at her, and she holds out her hand like, wait, I need to communicate with you. And she's holding her hand out, and he goes, yes, and she goes, Meeilk. Meeilk. And he's like, what? He's horrified. He's like, our girl, she's got like, she clearly, she just said she's way out of her element, man, and she's not exactly clean or anything, and she's just
she's lowering her voice too. She's making her tones.
She's trying so hard, and you can see tarantula stuck in her teeth. Meeilk. And finally, I'm like, lady, just pull out the translator. You don't have to try to get the words. And I'm like, pointing towards her stuff, like, pull that thing out you had. And
sir.
And now she's like, oh, the giant's pointing at me.
And the steward's like, oh, I can help you with that.
And finally, I decide to get involved because I'm like, all right, I gotta tell. I think I can know what she wants. And I was like, I look to the flight attendant. I go, man, I think she wants milk. He goes, what? She's asking for milk. I'm like, I think she's trying to say milk. I heard her practicing on this thing.
In In honor of airplane, did you say, "Oh, steward, I speak tiny villager"?
So I tell him that I think she wants milk, and he goes, "Oh, figures, they all want milk."
Oh my God!
And I was like, "What? I don't even know what that means. What do you mean that?" And he was so sassy. And he went and got her some milk and brought it back to her, and she pounded it, dude. It was like she was in a milk drinking competition. She just chugged this milk and then set it down, and I was like, "So that's where the milk drop comes from."
Can I hear it again?
Meeilk. Meeilk.
What are you saying right now? I don't understand you. Oh, God love it. All you middle passengers want this.
Meeilk.
Meeilk. So what did
My slacks are really tight.
Did I handle that right?
I like the idea of Ben just watched this lady eat tarantula and whatever else, and he goes to the steward. I think I know what she wants.
I love the idea of him reaching over to the middle chair and picking her up and holding her up to the steward. And she starts hitting that little speaking spell. Meeilk. Meeilk. So, dude, so what you said you got her number. Did you ever end up calling her again?
Yeah, she's a real bitch. No, I didn't get her number. She had never seen a phone.
She's a randy gal.
Oh, man.
But it was just one of those strange deals. Yeah. Like I didn't know if I was handling it the right way. I don't know if I should have not been involved, but I was really on her side. I was pulling for her more than I was the flight attendant, but I don't know. He didn't have a lot of patience for her, and she had just seen a lighter for the first time. She was just caveman out of the cave seeing a lighter. So I was just trying to help.
What did she think of Busty Cops 4 that you were watching?
She just looked at it and goes, "Meeilk."
Meeilk.
Oh, man. All right. Coming up next, we'll do some more radio.